Have you ever dreamt of riding a motorcycle, feeling the wind against your face, but the fear of crashing held you back? Ah, the allure of the open road, the freedom, the excitement, the thrill of the ride. It's a dream many of us share, yet it's often clouded by a common fear, the fear of a motorcycle crash. It's a fear that's not entirely unfounded. Statistics show that motorcycle accidents do happen. But let's put this into perspective. In life, there are risks in everything we do, from crossing the street to climbing a flight of stairs, even cooking dinner. Yet, we don't let these fears prevent us from living our lives, do we? So why should the fear of a motorcycle crash be any different? You see, fear is a natural response to potential danger. It's a survival instinct. But it's also a tricky beast that can hold us back from pursuing our dreams. It can paralyze us, make us question our abilities, and rob us of the joy of experiencing new things. But should we let this fear dictate our lives? Absolutely not. In the grand scheme of things, the number of motorcycle accidents is relatively small compared to the number of riders who hit the road every day without incident. The vast majority of motorcyclists ride safely, responsibly, and return home without a scratch. Moreover, with proper training, safety gear, and a respectful attitude towards the road, the risks associated with motorcycling can be significantly reduced. Yes, there's always a chance of an accident, but there's also a chance of winning the lottery. And yet, we don't all rush out to buy lottery tickets, do we? So, let's not allow fear to stand in the way of our dreams. Let's not let the fear of crashing overshadow the joy of riding. Instead, let's embrace the fear, use it as a tool to make us better, safer riders, and let the thrill of the ride outweigh the fear. The fear is real, but so is the thrill of the ride. Now, allow me to introduce you to John, a man who once lived in the shadow of his fear. Imagine a young lad, barely tall enough to reach the kitchen counter, eyes wide with fascination as he watches a motorcycle race on the telly. That was our John. The roaring engines, the sheer speed, the thrill of the chase, it all filled his heart with an indescribable joy. But as he grew older, a fear started creeping in, a fear as cold as a British winter, a fear of crashes. You see, John didn't just fear the crashes, he was petrified of them. It was as though he had a personal rain cloud hanging over his head, pouring down images of skidding tires and flying helmets. And let's not forget the irrational fears. John was so scared of crashes that he once thought he'd crash into a tree if he rode a motorcycle in the desert. Yes, a tree in a desert. The Sahara Desert, to be exact. Quite a vivid imagination our John has, doesn't he? He'd lay awake at night, the moonlight casting long shadows on his bedroom wall, and in those shadows he'd see his fears come to life. The thrilling roar of the engines he once loved now sounded like a beast waiting to devour him. The gleaming motorcycles he admired now seemed like monsters with shining teeth. The dream that once ignited his passion now only ignited his fear. And so, John stayed away from motorcycles, stayed away from his dream. He'd watch the races on the telly with a heavy heart, the joy replaced by a hollow feeling. He'd see his friends riding their motorcycles, the wind in their hair, the freedom in their smiles, and he'd feel a pang of longing. He'd look at his reflection in the mirror and see a man living in the shadow of his fear. John was stuck. His dream seemed unreachable. But remember, folks, this isn't just a story about fear. It's about a man, a dream, and the journey to overcome the fear. So stay tuned, because John's story is far from over, it's just getting started. Then, a day came when John decided he had enough of fear ruling his life. He looked fear straight in the eyes, or in his case, the two round headlights of his motorcycle, and said, "Enough is enough." John knew he had to confront his fear, and so began his journey of learning to ride. Now, I won't lie to you, it wasn't a walk in the park. Oh no, it was more like a stumble in the dark. John fell, and he fell hard. He fell so many times that he lost count, but every time he did, he'd get up, dust himself off and say, "Well, that's another way not to ride a motorbike." The failures were many. He once forgot to put the kickstand down and the bike toppled over. Another time, he took a turn too sharp and ended up in a bush. I'm telling you, if there was a way to mess up, John found it. But each blunder was a lesson learned, a step towards mastery. Despite the setbacks, John's determination was unwavering. He was like a bulldog with a bone he just wouldn't let go. He knew he would never conquer his fear if he didn't keep trying. And so he persisted. He practiced every day, rain or shine, until his muscles ached and his hands were blistered. He would fall, pick himself up and ride again. There was something quite admirable about John's journey. His tenacity, his refusal to surrender to fear was inspiring. It was as if he was saying, I may be down, but I'm not out. I may be bruised, but I'm not broken. And he was right. He was bruised, oh yes, many times over. But each bruise was a badge of honor, a testament to his courage and his will to overcome. Every fall, every failure was just another stepping stone on his path to victory. Through the falls, the failures and the pain, John learned that fear is not a roadblock, but a stepping stone to success. He learned that persistence is the key to overcoming fear, and most importantly, he learned that he was stronger than he ever imagined. John was bruised, but he was not broken. The day finally arrived when fear no longer held John captive. Picture this. A man, once paralyzed by fear, now standing tall, his heart pounding with anticipation, not dread. John, our hero, was about to embark on his first successful bike ride. The shackles of fear had been shattered, replaced by a sense of exhilaration that was as intoxicating as it was liberating. He took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill his lungs, and then slowly let it out. It was a moment of quiet meditation, a final mental preparation before the journey. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins, a potent cocktail of excitement and nervous anticipation. His hands gripped the handlebars, the cool metal a stark contrast to the warmth radiating from his palms. When he finally twisted the throttle, the bike roared to life beneath him. It was like a wild beast, untamed and powerful, ready to conquer the open road. But John was no longer a mere spectator to this spectacle of power. He was the one in control. He was the one guiding this beast. As the bike moved forward, John could feel a surge of triumph. Every rotation of the wheels was a testament to his victory over fear. The wind that whipped past him was not a chilling reminder of what could go wrong, but a refreshing affirmation of his triumph. He could feel the bike responding to his touch, the engine's powerful purr, a symphony of victory that echoed in his ears. The open road stretched out before him, a symbol of endless possibilities. Each mile he covered was a new chapter in his story, a testament to his courage and determination. He was no longer the man who was afraid of falling. He was the man who dared to ride. The feeling of achievement was overwhelming. The sense of accomplishment, the realization of a dream long held but never pursued, was a feeling that was both humbling and empowering. John was no longer just a dreamer. He was a rider. He was a conqueror. John was now a rider, not just a dreamer. John's story is not just about overcoming the fear of motorcycle crashes. It's a tale that transcends the roar of engines and the thrill of hitting the open road. It's a lesson about life, about facing our fears head-on, and about not letting those fears rob us of our dreams. John's journey teaches us that fear is a natural part of life. It's a primal instinct, a survival mechanism, and it's hardwired into our DNA. But here's the thing, fear is not our master. It's a feeling, a thought, a flicker of doubt that we can choose to acknowledge and then move past. We can say, yes, I see you, fear, I hear you, but I will not let you dictate my actions. I will not let you steal my dreams. John's story reminds us of the power of persistence. He didn't let one crash, or two, or even three deter him from his passion for motorcycles. He picked himself up, dusted himself off, and got back on that bike, again and again, because he understood that dreams don't come easy. They demand sweat, tears, and sometimes a bit of road rash. And then there's courage, the kind of courage that's not about being fearless, but about moving forward despite the fear. The kind of courage that John demonstrated every time he swung his leg over that motorcycle seat. It's the courage we all need to pursue our dreams, no matter how big or small. But perhaps the most important lesson from John's story is resilience. The ability to bounce back from setbacks, to learn from failures, and to keep going, even when the road gets tough. Because the road will get tough. There will be bumps and there will be crashes. But like John, we can choose to get back on the bike, to keep riding, to keep chasing our dreams. Remember, every dream is worth fighting for, just like John fought for his.